Guys can. Hey, welcome back to live stream on Wednesdays. I've been out for a few weeks, basically busy working, but I'm back. Actually, still working, even though I should be on holidays. But I decided to still come and do the live stream because I miss being talking to you guys and stuff. Plus, I had a bunch of film I have to hang. Sleeve into 4x5. This is 4x5 color negative and 4x5 color negative. So I came the other day and developed in my awesome Jobo 3010 a bunch of 4x5s. Hi Leighton. Let me show you first. These are 5 blank sheets. There's Portra 400NC, Portra 160NC, and Portra 160NC. 4 actually sheets. Why does this happen? I've said it. I say it in my workshops, and I'll say it here live stream just in case you guys are curious. When hey Bayek, hey Leighton, nice to see you, Bayek here. Bayek and me actually got to meet in London like 2 or 3 weeks ago in a photo walk, which was pretty nice. So yeah, why are there blank sheets? When I'm shooting 4x5, let me grab a film holder. And I've been shooting, and by any chance, I've taken 4 sheet holders, film holders, and I see that maybe one shot seems to not have been flipped around. Like maybe I shot 8 shots and I have 1 that looks white, and I know it has to be shot. Just in case, I will develop them all equally. Maybe one of these has a double exposure that I missed, but what I do is I still develop them all. I rather have blank sheets than do 2 exposures on 1 sheet. Why? Because 2 exposures on 1 sheet means 2 images were screwed. But this means no picture was taken, no picture was screwed. It was just a sheet of film that I developed and I shouldn't have. But this is a minor loss compared to a shoot. If you went out and shot and you did everything and you still, just in case for saving the money, you go ahead and you develop the film or you shoot again, you might get double exposures. This way, this hurts, but it hurts more if there was 2 pictures inside 1. So that's why this time there's been 4 blank sheets. This is not usual. My wallet is screwed. But these are all sheets. It's the Portra 160NC. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if I can make it focus on that. Nah, it won't. I'm going to unhang that and put it in my sleeves. Let me see. So I always use the print file sleeves. I have all kinds of sort of sleeves here. So I go through, this is 8x10, so you can see there it's inverted. 35, 120, 120 for 6x7, which is a little different, 35 again, and then we got to the 4x5. So yeah, I use the 4x5s that gives me 4 sheets. Because I like having 4 sheets and I can do 1 big contact print. So yeah, that's why I use that. Let me see. Can see it looks C41. Stream quality is a little low at the moment. Yeah, C41. Thanks. It was great to see you in London. Hope you'll come back anytime soon. Okay, let me open the door just in case it'll help with the stream. Because I'm inside the lab, kind of has a bit of not so much quality. So yeah, I use these for 4x5s, and it's all 4x5. I did some 8x10s. These are 8x10s which I took on a weekend with the family, which you probably can't see, but that's a family picture. Maybe I could have a white background. Let's see if you guys can see it there. That's a portrait of a family. A marriage of mother and father and son. And then I have some at the pool taken with the 8x10. of my niece, and this is the same mother before, not the mother of that kid. This is my sister's daughter and a friend in the pool. I mean, trying to document more stuff on 8x10. These are his padrinos, godfathers. They're a couple and the baby. And this is actually my sister and her baby. So baby, sister, 8x10. This was all shot on Ilford HP5, which are waiting to get scanned and contact printed. But yeah, C41. This is what I'm going to be hanging. There's some architecture shots for the series that are pre-YouTube. So imagine how old those are. There's some from a workshop. This is from a workshop, which these I sleeve differently. So let me get that. For the workshops, I use individual sleeves so I can give them to the students. So yeah, that's what they get. See, Hogarth was joining us. House says feels bad every time it happens. It is a bummer when you get exposures there's nothing there, but I hate double exposures more, so that's why I rather shoot and develop just in case. So this is how I give them to the students. Bayek says 8x10 negs look lush. Yeah, 8x10 is amazing, especially for contacts. You just, you know, appreciate all the detail. They're big enough. Another one from a workshop. This is two of the ladies that were in it. 4x5. So far, everyone that's done a workshop with me has gotten images, which, and I mean no light leaks, no double exposures, no ghost images, nothing like that. Everyone gets a proper negative, usually well metered and everything. So I'm very proud of that. I know the day will come where someone will make a mistake somewhere, because I make them all the time. But it's nice to see. Barbas, Ectochrome E100G, it will be good for what? Portraits, landscape. A slide film will be good for pretty much everything. You just have to know what scenes they're suited, better suited for. This is an image of a project that I'm starting right now. It's going to be a book. I've never thought about making a book, but the other day I decided I want to make a book. So 2019 probably will be when I release it. This is the first shot. This will be on YouTube as I recorded how I shot it and everything. I will be making little videos of how I shoot for the book. It's so different to have an idea that you want to realize and then make a book, because I've always been the kind of person that thought about working, shooting, and then coming up with a book. But this time it's been the other way around. I've decided I want to make a book about something, and I'm going out to shoot these shots, which is pretty cool. This actually should be going on the big sleeves. So yeah, this will be a book, and there'll be videos all about the shots and why the shots. And I did shoot a bunch and screwed up all the time. So basically, I developed everything. Let's see what Hal said. Quality family time. I always afraid taking pictures of the family using the film camera because there might be some error and ruin the shot. Glad it turns out great. How I've screwed up many family shots, but still, I always take them. That was a whole weekend, and I took 4 shots in probably an hour. So the rest is in 35. Another shot for the book. So I'm not worried. I mean, if something would have come out wrong, it's fine, but I still have my shot. I don't take any digital pictures unless it's with my phone, so I'm not too concerned if something doesn't come out, because I know I tried my best. These are some old pictures that were waiting to be developed for the longest time. Some are more than 3 to 4 years old, so, and it still looks, you can see the base of the film still looks pretty decent. Colors might be slightly off, but we'll see. So far they look fine. If you're wondering, that's just a random do-it-yourself kind of like wardrobe, and I just put some screws and it has different shelves. So you can see there's there and there, so I can put it higher or lower or take it off. So when I'm doing roll film, it's the whole thing. When I'm doing sheet film, I can do different layers and do multiple shots. So yeah, that I was gonna make it myself, but then I found one for very little money that fit exactly in that little corner. So that's why. Let's see. This one, I made a bunch of mistakes. This one has a light leak up here. You can see. Hi Pedro. IKEA is great for dark rooms. This is actually not even IKEA. It's Leroy Merlin, which is a French franchise. And it was just a cheap one. Another one. I think I shot like 3 to 4 shots for this book. This one has a bunch of something, which I'm gonna have to clean. Sometimes you get dust and stuff. What I do to clean them is I wet them again, make it humid, get the emulsion just nice and soft, and just slowly rub and remove whatever could be on it. If it's on the emulsion side, be extremely careful, but if not, this one's extremely overexposed. This one I forgot to close the shutter. I still developed it because I always like seeing. There's actually details if you can see. That you can't see, but yeah. This one's toasted. I still keep it. You never know. You always learn something. This is because I was using that. Look at the difference in exposure. I was using the Prontor shutters, which I'll make a video about. And these shutters need to be clicked open and clicked closed. And I forgot to unclick it. So basically, burnt exposure. This in Europe can cost up to 7 to 8 euros just a sheet of film. Then developing it is a lot of money too. Anthony, thanks for your time. Hey, happy to live stream for you guys. I enjoy it, so it's not a big problem. I was seeing today, this is the live stream number 55. Kid running in a field of daisies. You can't see that, but yeah, field of daisies. I do shoot family pictures on the 4x5. I've used a travel wide, which these might be travel wide shots in color. Then I'm gonna make a video, and this is part of the video, is gonna be about taking time to shoot. I get super eager when I don't shoot for a few days, maybe a week, and then I start shooting randomly, and then my pictures are just random, nothing too interesting. And I feel horrible because I should really make time to shoot. It's one of those things you really should try. I think everyone should have time. As you have time to meditate, time to rest, you should have, as a photographer, time to shoot. This is one of the first architecture shots that came out. You probably can't see. Let me see if I can use that white sheet of paper. Now you can't see anything. You can kind of appreciate a little bit. This is a really old shot. This was done with a CNR in the 72, but the lines are extremely straight, which is good. And we'll see what's the detail there. 72 XL on that. There's some with the Aero XR. Let's see, I saw some comments. I'm using my phone, so it's horrible. Hi, Hogarth. So I tried Cinestill monobath the other day. 35 turned out fine, but not 120. Both films didn't get through the pre-soak stage. Have you ever tried any monobath before? Actually, I've never tried monobath before, and Cinestill reached out to me and sent me one of the little bottles of Cinestill D76 or DF76, 96, sorry. I think they sent every single YouTuber that talks about film one of these if they agreed to. I still have to make that video, which I don't know if I'll be able to make in the next few weeks because of family travels. But yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm curious to see. I'm going to be doing large format film with it. No 120 or no 135, at least not at the beginning. Maybe at the end of the chemistry, but we'll see. I'm sorry to hear that it didn't work so well with the 120. Pedro, when will we see the video of the film washed in cold water? Pedro, the video is ready. The scans are ready. The thing is, it wasn't so conclusive, so I want to redo the test because I was looking for a certain effect and it didn't happen. So I could put the video up as a failure to my experiment, but I've been waiting to see if I can redo and show differences. I made two mistakes. One was loading not enough chemistry because I never do hand agitation, and I got all the bubbles on the frame, so that just feels like such a newbie mistake to put on a video that everyone's going to concentrate on me screwing up that and not the actual information of the video. So I've been postponing that. So yeah, these are all the shots I developed. This was done in maybe 2 hours or so. 22 shots of 4x5 color and 4 shots of 8x10 black and white. So yeah, that's going. I'm eating a sandwich and drinking a soda. Hoggers, you shouldn't be drinking soda. But yeah, that's all there was to hang. This goes here, 4x5s. These are really nice. If you shoot 4x5 and not shoot a lot, these individual sleeves are really nice to archive everything and write down notes on every single shot. So if you do different experiments or different films or different shots all the time, you can file number them. They don't have any holes, which I wish they did have, like punch holes, so you could put them in a little binder or something like it. You could use little boxes, but yeah, these are pretty nice. Layton says, "May I can't guarantee I lose 2 rolls of film, 35 per year. People, you are going to screw up at least a couple of times of film." Yeah, my average could be probably every single time I develop, there's one sheet of film, one roll of film, one something that just turns out wrong for some reason, or something's being done wrong, I metered wrong, or I developed wrong. Usually development doesn't happen so much, but it's happened. But yeah, film, it's one of those things that's the sucky part, and the nice part is you can fail, but when you don't fail, it's so nice. I metered wrong many times, especially with slides film. You forget how to meter for slide, and that happens quite a bit. So let me just put this away. Oops, another sheet. So yeah, starting with any questions you guys have. Let me see. Pedro says, let me see questions before. August, so should I get a 6x19 in addition to the 6x19? No, don't get a 6x19. I don't like so much panoramic. Pedro, have you ever heard about black and white photo paper from Tetanol? Yeah, Tetanol used to make, I don't know if they still make it, used to make black and white paper that was actually pretty nice, but I don't know if they still make it. That I would have to look online. I've never tried it though. I think it was called Works. There was one called Works. Hogger says, I mess up film about once a year. 10 rolls of slide from India, all boogered. Yeah, I've screwed up bulk like amounts, like a whole thing, and it's pretty bad. But usually it's more from the taking the shots sometimes than anything else. I didn't know I left my P30 behind my enlarger. I've only done one roll of P30 so far, and it turned out great. I had some micro scratches, but that was the first batch. Can't wait to get myself some of that. Nathan says, I'm sure Tetanol paper is Kentamere. Seems to be RC only. Could be wrong. Yeah, I haven't seen much of it lately. I can't say. Let me address a few questions that Svein sent me by email. Svein, I don't know if I should take you guys downstairs, because that's where the camera he asked about is, which happens to be, I have the camera he was asking about. So Svein has a Calumet monorail. Let me put the D70 DS at 96. Svein has a Calumet monorail, and he wants to attach a 6x12 or 6x17 back. So if you want to use a 6x12, 6x17, there's a few options. Pick up the camera and take it downstairs. It's just to have this light that you guys can see. So I can take it downstairs, but I have to unplug it and walk down. If you guys don't mind, I'll do it. You see? That's the light unplugged. It's just the light in here is horrible. Let me turn the lamp off. And now you guys can come. This is like a super stick. Let me see where I can plug you guys. Downstairs. Whoop. We're back. There's where the Calumet is. Field trip. In the store next to my house has a lot of paper from Tetano, but it's more expensive than Ilford, at least in that stop. Ted Forbes Super Stick. Yeah. Something that I haven't shown you guys yet. Oop, let me see exposure. Rolly 150 2.8 lens. This is a lens that's for projectors, but it can be adapted or mounted on the Graflex cameras. So I got this for very, very cheap. If I can open it, I'm trying to open it, guys, to show you. Okay, Rolly, let me put this a little lower. I'm tall, but not that tall. Okay. So Rolly Flex, Rolly projection lens. And now it's when I can't open it live. Nothing's harder than opening a box on a live stream. It always doesn't work. This box, no, this is the top. Okay, top open. So this lens is fixed aperture, and it's actually a huge eye. It's a 150 2.8 fixed aperture. You can't close it. Inside there's nothing in there, so you can actually unscrew this tube, and you kind of have yourself a 150 2.8 lens that covers 4x5. So I'm still trying to figure out how to mount it. I probably will use this actually to mount it. Just screw it onto a lens board. You build a flange. Now this won't screw. I hate metal screwing. There we go. So yeah, I was gonna test this someday on YouTube for you guys. 150. Can you read that? Hados Matte. It's the other way around. Let me see. Let me go back to the questions. Scan Adox Scala as slide, but bit grayscale. Who was asking that? I don't know. What is that softbox umbrella? This is not mine. It's from my partner. And I think it's a Pro Photo umbrella, deep, and Ellen Chrome flash head. That's an Avenger boom stick, whatever it's called. I'm not very good at that stuff. So yeah, let me go to the monorail so we can answer Spain's question before I forget. It's just that this was in the middle. I actually think the best part of the whole lens is the little box from Rolly. I think it's pretty nice. Ted Forbes Super Boomstick. This is my boomstick. Let me see. Backpack. Monorail. Oh. Okay. So this is a Calumet monorail, which is what Spain told me he had, and I'm guessing it's exactly the same camera. This camera was gifted to me for my workshops. Still haven't used it because the tripod mount doesn't work with my tripods. It's like recessed, and it's pretty bad. Now you have triggered all the Evil Dead references. So the back is not a graph lock back. So that's probably the main concern from Spain. Oh, this doesn't even lock. Okay, that's pretty nice. So the back is not a graph lock back. It's just a random spring back, rotating, if I'm not wrong, somehow. Probably there. There you go. Has like a little stop, and then you can lock it. Okay, so he wants to shoot 6x12, you see? That's the little light ring in my phone. You guys are in there. This won't let you shoot 6x12, 6x14, 17. So there's a few options. The Horseman 6x12 backs usually fit on these. You can spring load it and push it a lot and put it in there, but it's not the best idea. Cinar had 6x12 back that was actually pretty thin. It kind of looked like the Polaroid 545, which you could slide in. So it would slide in and the roll would be out here. Let me grab. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So it's sort of like this. You can see how slim it is. So this is the 545 back for Polaroid 55, new 55 and such. So the Cinar Zoom back or something like that with a 6x12 a multi-format, it would go lower. It had like little levers that would stop, open, and close. So kind of like close and open. And you could slide it in here. So you could use that. It's called Cinar 6x12. Just Google that. And that you can let yourself shoot 6x12. You won't be able to use any of the Graph-Lock system like the Horseman or maybe the Dai house system or the 6x17. So he was asking me, Svein, which was the cheapest way for him to start shooting 6x17 or so. And actually Hogarth, who's live here with us, has the Pally's. Pally is the name of the designer, but the camera is like K6 or K6 X14XV. It's a horribly weird, complicated name for me to remember. Hogarth, please type it in or put your blog. I shared it actually on my Facebook, but it's Hogarth Ferguson. There you go, K6X14VX. So Google that and review. Hogarth has a review of it. That camera is a 3D printed camera. Let me just put this down. It's so heavy. Well, it's not actually that heavy, but it's pretty heavy. But it's a pretty nice camera. Let me see. Okay, so that panoramic camera, it's 3D printed. It's selling for around less than $200. Don't quote me exactly on the price because I know Polly's printing as many as he can, and that's happening. Hog hasn't done a review, but you posted a few pictures, so I think if you type it, you should be able to find it. If not, go to my Facebook, and it's Nicolas Yacera, and that should be there. So this is a 3D printed camera that he's printed it in 6x14, I think 6x12, I think 6x15. He's going to do a 6x19 and 17. For under $200, you attach your lens. You have to tell them which lens you have, and they're pretty cheap, and you can go and shoot. So it's pretty inexpensive. I think that's the cheapest way nowadays to shoot some of those panoramic formats. I'm tempted to get myself one of those 6x14 or 6x15 because I've seen some amazing work from Hogarth and other guys on the group. There's a Facebook group for that. And yeah, that would be probably the cheapest way. Adapting a Graph-Lock here probably isn't that hard, but this is a whole box. Like, there's no way to get this thing off and put something else. There are screws, but the whole thing comes out. It's this is part of this. So it's Spain, this is the camera you have. You probably won't be able to shoot 6x12 unless you get the Cinar little zoom thing. And those things are pretty expensive, and I think they even are not that great secondhand after all these years. This camera is being painted. Look at that silver. I wonder who it has a little strap. Shoestring strap. But yeah, Calumet, these are so cheap. These usually go for like $100, $150. Pedro says, I'm just gonna fall. My 3-year son is on my lap and he talks to you on the monitor. That's okay, he can talk to me. My daughter talks to me when she sees me on TV. Let me see. I told you I get you one. You say no. Now you're saying you want one. Brad. Hi, Nico. Hi, Tariq. Nice to see you here. So yeah. If you get one of these, you can't shoot 6x12 easily, and 6x17 probably even harder. So yeah. Any other questions, guys? Let me know. On vacation, enjoying your show. I'm on vacation too. Started yesterday, but still at work. I have to work today. Have to work tomorrow. I got a photo shoot for a magazine tomorrow, which I'll make a video about it. But considering the magazine won't be releasing the article till September-ish, I probably won't make it live till then. Okay, and also Nico, what is your favorite? The Barbas. I lost. What do you mean? What is my favorite? Any questions you guys have? Let me know. I'm so hot. It's so hot down here. I don't like 6x12. It's for Spanish screws like Nico. 6x14 is cool. I love more panoramic 6x19. But, ooh, wait, no. But my 6x14 has the lens I love. I'm changing the back to a 614. One question: what are your thoughts on using 645 film back on the Mamiya RZ? Bayek, I've used the 645 back for the Hasselblad, and as much as I disliked it at the time using it, I've come to terms that I actually would like to own one again because I sold it. Because at the end of the day, first of all, you got film economy, which is much cheaper because you're shooting 16 shots instead of 10, going from 6x7 to 645. The negative is still huge. Yes, your lenses will be cropped in because your shot's going to be cropped. So I actually think it's a good idea. I think it's 645 is one of those medium format sizes that is very much overlooked because it looks a lot like 35 in the aspect ratio. So a lot of people overlook it and go to 6x6, 6x7, 6x8, or panoramic like Hogarth or other people. But I think it's a great idea. 645 I think should have more love. I've been wanting to get back into it with some sort of equipment. At this very moment, I think I have no 645 camera. I could get it back for the Hasselblad or the Mamiya, but I want to get a system. I want to get like a Mamiya Super 645 or a Mamiya, 645 Pro, something like that. Hogarth, keep on working. Nice to see you. I'm on vacationing on Foley Beach, South Carolina. Well, I wasn't planning on going to the stateside this summer, but things have changed a lot, and I'm going to Miami on Sunday. So if anyone's around Miami area and wants to meet for a drink, let me know. Kali Marathon. Kali. Hey, really enjoyed the news recently. Glad to catch you live. I'm glad you enjoyed the news. I will be making the news during summer from Miami, so the background will change. Hopefully you guys will enjoy them. The Barbas, I want to buy my first panoramic camera, but I don't know what size should I choose. Well, panoramic cameras come down to me to the aspect ratio is very important. For example, I've shot 6x24, 6x17, 6x12, 6x... I think that's all I've shot. 6x12, 6x17, 6x24. So what happens is, to me, once it gets way too panoramic, I don't enjoy it so much. And I have to say, for example, YouTuber, photographer Nick Carver does 6x17, and he prints them huge, and they look really nice like that. But I have the X-Pan, which is very similar format to 6x17, and I found it way too long for my taste, especially when I'm taking the frame. Once I've shot something that looks amazing on 6x17 or 6x24, which is even longer, it's just super long, it looks kind of weird. So my main concern with panoramics is you either take it with you all the time and you shoot a lot and you get one shot which is worth it, and everything else you're trying to fill in with empty space. A lot of, I think 90% of the X-Pan shots I see could have been shot the same picture without the X-Pan, because they just filled on the sides with whatever empty space. So I think panoramics are really hard. That's why I like 612. It's not so panoramic. It's kind of like a 2-1. And I have some shots that I developed upstairs, which are going to go in a video soon. So yeah, my favorite is 612. First, film economy. You get 6 shots out of a roll, which is nice. Second, I like the aspect ratio, not too long, but not too short. Third, a lot of lenses cover 6x12. It's a 4x5 size, basically. Camera's not that big, it's not that bulky. They're usually not that expensive if you know how to look for them. They don't go like the 6x17 cameras are crazy priced, and they're so big, they're like massive. You get 3 shots per roll. So yeah, the Pali cameras are extremely inexpensive, and that's why I'm considering it. As Hogger said, he offered to get me one, but it's a matter of not having so much clutter. So all this is gear, and more there, and I don't want to have so much. So yeah, but that's what I would do. I would go for a 614, for example, from Pali. Kali says, do you prefer flat or curved panoramic cameras? I've shot with both. I actually own a wide look, which is down there, and I've shot with the 614 and stuff, which is not a true panoramic. It's just cropping into a larger circle, just cropping the panoramic in it. I have to say, if I have the time, I'd rather shoot with a rotating lens. But if I don't have the time and it's kind of handheld, I'd rather have the flat lens, like the just straight lens, just like panoramic but cropped, like the 6x12 and stuff like that. And there's a reason for that. On the rotating ones, which are the lenses that rotate, like the wide looks, that they just go like that. If you want, I can even show you guys. Okay, so this is a wide looks, and it's a rotating panoramic. You see? The lens rotates after. That's a 15th. You see the lens? Okay, so what happens when that is shooting is if your camera is not absolutely 100% leveled, the horizon or any straight line will do this weird warp, either concave or whatever, it's the other one. Sorry, I'm Spanish. Cóncavo, convexo in Spanish. So when you shoot, and let me advance, when you advance, the lens goes back, you see? You can see the lens going back. And I'll do another 150. Okay, concave or concave? Concave or concave? You said the both same thing both times. Like convex or concave. Okay, there you go. Yeah, well, basically, if this camera is not straight up, and I actually stopped using the viewfinder. This viewfinder is awesome because it gives you kind of an approach of what's going to be happening. But the most important part of this camera is this part, because you have to have that bubble as straight as possible. Once you start shooting, you really get your head around of how wide it is. And it even has these arrows that give you kind of sort of the wideness. One thing is, don't put your fingers there. You got to shoot like that. If you look at Jeff Bridges, which is that super famous actor, he loves this camera. And every time he shoots a selfie, he's like that. Because if not, your fingers will be in the shot. So don't use the viewfinder, use the bubble. And that way when you shoot with time, that's what I mean, if you have the time. But if you're shooting from a high vantage point and pointing down, expect that weird horizon going concave or convex, like just going all weird on you. If you're shooting vertical, same thing. If you're not exactly vertical to the building or lines or trees, it's going to make this weird warp, which is fun to use, but also a pain in the neck sometimes. So when I'm shooting something handheld and I'm running a gun, I like the normal panoramic, like the X-Pan or the Horseman and stuff like that. Collie says, you seem to be able to do things with long exposure on those. A friend of mine uses Horizon on the Tube, a Horizon on the Tube, underground grain. Hey, Federico. These are super fun. I mean, I've seen the Jeff Bridges exhibit. I saw it in May at the Revelate festival in Barcelona. And basically what Jeff Bridges does, shoots a 1/15th, and he shoots actors mostly. And he tells them to put a sad face and then a happy face in the same shot. And what he does is, this is the exposure. So he shoots and then shifts and keeps it still. So you get the same person with one face here, and then like a little blur, and another person in this frame with a different face. So it's pretty fun. You can do that with this. So yeah, if I had to prefer, I prefer both. But if I'm running around very fast, I'd rather shoot with a normal traditional panoramic. If I'm shooting with more time, something sounds very loose in here. Probably no film in there. If I have more time, I have this camera, and this is awesome. Actually, I'm going on a trip. Maybe I'll take it. I haven't shot with it in forever. Miami is a cool town to shoot something like this. So maybe. The main problem with this camera is the lens is 2.8, but it stops down to f11, but the max shutter speed, if you can see it there, see if this phone will focus, is 2/50th of a second. If you're pushing your film, you can't do that. I usually push my film so I can shoot in all conditions, but you can't. They have little filters that are really hard to find, and I don't have them, so they pop in there. So yeah, that's why I don't take this to very sunny places. But yeah, train, underground train. Oh, mine uses a horizon on the train. Yeah, you can do some cool stuff with this. I mean, it's a very fun camera. Federico says, I just bought 6 rolls of Ektachrome 160T, expired 1004. How should I rate it? I want to develop it in E6. Federico, first thing is, you bought tungsten film. So you want to either play with that and make your shots funky, in the sense that tungsten film is color balanced to make the yellow light in the street or indoors, which nowadays most lights are not tungsten. That yellow light look like neutral, let's say 5500 Kelvin. So it looks like white balance is right. Before digital cameras and auto white balance, that was the thing to shoot indoors. But you can play with it. You can shoot outdoors in daylight, but everything will look blue, or you can use the yellow filter. It's kind of like I don't know what it's called. I think it's the I can't remember the name of the yellow filter, but yeah, use the yellow filter shooting outdoors, or shoot out at night. Exposing it, how should you rate it? It's 160. I would probably rate it around 100. Shoot 1 roll, develop and see. If that didn't work, adjust accordingly. Don't do a lot of changes on the film the first roll. Do 1 roll and see how it goes, and then expose correctly for the next one. Or if you need to add any filters or anything like that, it would work. Hey Svein, I answered your Calumet question just before, just to know if this is the right one. Svein, do you have exactly the same Calumet or not? Because if this is the camera you have, your questions are answered. If not, we can go through it again. Yes. Okay, so Svein, you're gonna have to go to like minute 20, 25 to probably hear the answer. 441. This one doesn't have a number, at least that I know of. No, this one just says Calumet camera 4x5, serial number 8222. So 8 and 3 2s. That's all I have, is this little plaque on the bottom. Let me see. Federico, thank you. You're welcome. Let me see. On Pedro, have you ever used slide film at night? No, I have not used slide film at night. Mostly because I'm not a very good night shooter, and everything I see around here doesn't look so interesting. Actually, Earth is awesome at night, and I would use that anytime. His work is pretty cool. He goes out with Patrick Jost in Baltimore and shoots. But I do want to get out at night more. They just opened like some horrible groceries around here, but they have some funky lighting, and I want to try some stuff there. I'm actually going to use the RZ and the shift lens as soon as possible out there. Let me see. Kali says, thoughts on large format cameras coming out on mass on Kickstarter. They all seem to meet their goals, so the community seems ready for more at least. Kali Matorn, that's a good question. That's a question that's actually been going around my head to the point of wanting to make a single video about those cheap, well, cheap no, but those Kickstarter cameras. To cut it very fast is, I think it's awesome. There's more cameras coming out. I think it's really nice that the market is receptive to it. I think also a lot of these new entry-level Kickstarter cameras don't have any field testing in terms of massive field tests. I mean, of course, they're not. They're brand new. And the people that make them or design them have used them a few times, maybe a bit more, sent a few beta testers and stuff. But I feel like they need to be very sturdy. Large format is a pain in the butt to shoot if something's wrong with the camera, okay? There's so many mistakes you can make as a user. There's so many mistakes that you can make with a camera. So if that camera has or is more prone to give you problems, or not problems, but not solutions to shooting out in the field. And the solutions, I mean like the camera, does it stay straight? Are the both the lens and the film plane parallel? Are they warped? When I put my film holder, will it move because the knobs don't tighten? Will there be any slight shift and I can't make sure that the lines the guy printed on a 3D printer or in a laser cutter or something like that are exactly straight, or maybe there's space for that little, because a little bit will throw your focus off and you won't know what's happening. And yeah, your shots will look great most of the times, but sometimes there'll be something that's slightly off. Maybe you don't know why. I shoot with a CNR P2, I shoot with a Chamonix, I've shot with an Ebony and stuff, and those are mostly high-end cameras. The Chamonix is a mid-level camera, and I've shot with the Intrepid, I've shot with other cameras like that, the travel wide, but you have to understand that they have certain limitations, and especially because of the price, mostly they have to cut some corners. They can't have every perfection into it. But I think if you really know what you're doing, you can get awesome results with almost any camera. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get pretty much horrible results with a lot of cameras. But the higher grade cameras are going to be easier to get a good exposure because like the CNR just like it locks into space. Like they'll clunk, clunk, it's zero position. If you move out, you're going to hear it or you're going to see the degree and it's going to be perfect. So that's what I think. I would love to see more. I would love to see a higher grade 4x5 camera because the market of the high grade is kind of like coming down. Ebony came down. Beardorf is pretty much out of business. So like we're left with like Can-Ham, Walker cameras, which are ABS cameras, but they're high grade cameras. So yeah, I've got mixed feelings about it, honestly. Let me see. Guys asked a lot of questions after that. But Colin Mater, I will be making a video on all of that very soon. I was trying to get my hands on a few of those new Kickstarter cameras to talk with proper experience with them in the field and not just what I think from seeing them, which is, I think, the worst thing you can do online. It looks the same. Looking forward to seeing the answer. Mike says 85 filter. That's for the tungsten film. Thank you. I knew it was something, a number and a B. 85 B or C. You know, Mike Hiscock. Sorry, but that name just sounds a little awkward. Nikitanet, large format camera sales will run into issues with pricing for lenses. Secondhand will go up beyond the level that people will want to get into, in my opinion. Well, the biggest concern, I think, with most cameras is going to be the shutters. Camera bodies and stuff can be fixed very easily, but certain shutters are really hard, and they're not making, anyone's making shutters. There's a new player in the game with a shutter that I think no one's really realizing how important it could be. And I'm not going to disclose much more about that because I want to make a video about that new company or newish company, and that's going to require traveling and such. But hopefully I'll get some sense into this idea I have about this future of shutters and the future of film cameras as it is, or new film cameras as it is. But yeah, large format is cheaper than ever right now. Pedro, I ask why because I should be a great challenge because of reciprocity failure for slide. I mean, at night, film is so flexible that you just kind of like can expose a long time, and it's usually much easier to not screw up. Consider that a little bit extra exposure, minor underexposure during the day could be one stop, but at night it's usually you turning into 1 hour or 1 hour and 2 minutes is going to be, those 2 minutes are going to be so much smaller in percentage to being one stop during the day. Like 2 minutes won't be a stop. It'll be like another hour is a stop. So you can do an hour and 10 minutes and it's going to look very similar to an hour or an hour and 20 minutes. You know, there's more wiggle room. But I'm a totally newbie on night exposures. Colin Mater, I'll be looking forward to that large format camera video then. You seem to have great insights. I wish for a more technical camera. Thanks for the answer. Yeah, I wish for a more technical camera. But yeah, I will be making a video about those, all the newish Kickstarter campaign cameras or beginner or entry level cheapish cameras. And what are the flaws or what I think could be the flaws to them. What I've heard from users, what I've heard from, you know, things online and stuff, but trying to make sure that every single thing I say is corroborated, like it's for sure a true fact about the camera and not someone speculating, which is what I don't like. So yeah, that video will come, but I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of research before. Let me see. Analog Adventure, Svein. Will not be the high-end market for large format rise after all these have bought Intrepid Chroma. After a few years, they want to upgrade. Yes, that's something that I think is important. Is all these lower budget cameras, because I'm not going to say entry level, because I actually don't think they're the best option to entry level. Because what I said, like you have to know a bit of what you're doing when you're using a camera that might have certain flaws because they decided not to put them in because it was more expensive or it could be too complicated or too big or too heavy or too anything. So these entry level cameras in terms of pricing will make people like learn to use them so well that it'll be like, I'm ready for the next step. And I've seen that in the Chamonix sales. Like I've heard a lot of people that are upgrading from Intrepid to Chamonix. I've heard a lot of people that are going from like the travel wide to something else because they want movements. So yeah, that's a great thing that's the cycle. And the good thing is they're so cheap that most of the times those cameras never get sold in the secondhand market. They just be kept for, you know, whatever time. So the market just continues growing instead of being market again, goes secondhand. Then because there's certain brands that the worst problem they have is their own old gear, like CNR cameras. Those are awesome cameras. They're super expensive back in the day. But what happened? They're so good that they started having so many in the secondhand market that the CNR just sales decreased so much. But if a camera is at a point where you don't want to sell it, sales just can keep on kind of going up or down, but they're not going to clump down because there's so much secondhand market. That happens with CNR, happens with Jobo, happens with some brands that there's so many secondhand things that they'll just come. Hasselblad, for example. Why would they make a new camera when you can buy 10 Hasselblads right now for around $1,000 each when they were selling for $4,000 new, you know? When the prices keep on going up to the point that they're almost the same price as they were sold before, then it's when we might see new cameras. And that's another whole video that I'm getting ready. Let me see. Boop. Nikita, there's the shutter issue indeed. Looking forward to that, what you're working on regarding Nico. Yeah, lots of works in my head. Just need to have the time and the money. Tariq, I couldn't agree more with you more. It's not the camera that you are paying for, it's precision and the hours went into the making it. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of different confronting feelings about cheap is good, but expensive is also high quality. And there's a middle ground there. So, you know, like a very expensive camera that's perfect and a very cheap camera that might not be perfect. There has to be a balance. So to me, the most important is those people getting those entry-level cameras, cheaper cameras, should be learning as much as they can. I would invest the amount of money of a Intrepid or Chroma, a Ghibli or Italian camera or a Stenopeica on workshops or learning or buying cheaper film and shooting a lot. But at the end of the day, you're going to be in the middle ground of what would have happened if you bought a middle ground camera. So that's kind of my thoughts on that a little bit. Let me see. Collimator, the camera dactyl is showing a lot of experimentation. I'm building shutters on the Instagram. I did see it. Seems to be a 120 camera in the works. There too, so look out for that. I have been following camera dactyl and seeing his shutter. It's a focal plane shutter that's kind of like wrapping up. I've been actually thinking and working on some concept just in my head because I think that would be pretty awesome to make kind of like a how do you say it, like a multi-format platform camera or open platform where you could mount almost every lens and have a focal plane shutter working, something like that I've been thinking about. I have a problem, as I wrote on a video, that I think a lot about this kind of stuff. Let me see. Lathan says there should be a published formula for calculating long exposure for the stock you are using. Might need to look on the website for a data chart. Yeah, if you're using old film, usually if you write the name of the film and PDF online, you might be lucky and find that Kodak, Ilford, Fuji had all the data sheets with the reciprocity failures, especially Fuji. Fuji is actually really good at that, which they're not good at other stuff, but they're good at those. PDFs are really good. What film do you miss the most? In all honesty, I would say in color film, I miss two emulsions the most. I miss Kodak Portra Vivid Color, the VC, because there used to be Kodak NC, which was natural color or neutral color. I always thought it was natural color. I think I even read about it. And then there was the Vivid Color. So you had like a more muted tones and more saturated tones for color negative. And you could shoot either or, and it was awesome. When you printed, it looked awesome. And then they came out with the normal Portra, which was a middle ground between both of them. And Kodak actually said, like, everyone is scanning nowadays, you can add saturation afterwards. So their Portra is more towards the muted colors. So if you want to add saturation on your computer, it's fine. But I do wet prints, color wet prints on the top up here. And you can't add saturation when you're doing that. So that's something I do miss. Then on slide film, I miss Fuji Astia. That was amazing slide film, especially for skin tones. I think most of the magazines out there used to shoot Astia because it was awesome. I had a bunch of rolls and I loved it. So those are the two color emulsions I missed. In black and white, I really missed the Fuji Neopan 1600, which was a 35mm film. It was awesome. The grain was spectacular. And I missed the Neopan 400 also in black and white. But yeah, those would be the four emulsions I miss most. Two black and white and two color, slide and color negative. I could also tell you which emulsions I'm not a big fan of. I've never got into terms with Kodak Ektar. I just can't do it. And then there's a lot of films I haven't tried, so I wouldn't be able to speak poorly about. But yeah, the Ektar I never liked. The new portraits are okay, but I'm telling you, when you're printing in the darkroom, they're hard sometimes to get the colors that I want. But yeah, and then in colored slide, there's some films that are so punchy that are not my taste, like the Velvia 50. I know a lot of people praise about them, but I'm not a landscape shooter, so whenever I shoot something that's not landscape with a Velvia 50, it just looks kind of weird compared to the Astia. So yeah, there's a few films there that I just haven't gotten the hang of it. I think it's working more with them than anything else. Oop, let me see. Layton says, Agfa Vista in the £1 in Poundland. I never got that kind of deal, so nope, I can't miss that. I do miss the Tariq. Tariq, you named all the films that I missed. Neopan 1600, 400. Tariq, I actually have in the freezer there 20 rolls of 120 Neopan 400, which I should expose already. but I just don't have the heart to grab it and pull it out, but I should shoot it. I might be going to Ohio summer 2019, and I might take some rolls and shoot some portraits of you, Tariq, with that film. And you can have a few rolls for yourself. So yeah, guys, I think we hit the 1 hour mark, which means it's been, yep, 10 o'clock. So yeah, let me see, I just tapped the back. There you go. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining me for this live stream on Wednesday night for me. It's dark already. Next week, I will be in sunny Florida. So I'll be doing the same time, but it'll be sunny instead of dark. And yeah, anything you want to ask me, you can send me a message on Instagram, send me a message on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, any of those things, emails to work with me. Send me a question, I'll answer it here or directly to you. But I always think it's fun to share it with you guys because once it's on the line like this, people can watch it. So yeah, thanks for everything, guys. See you next week. And thanks for joining. Good night. Oop. Ooh. My finger won't work.